Are you comfortable putting yourself out there, or do you try to scam people? And it can be subtle. Here's a way of scamming people. You might go out and you're like, hey, I want to go talk to some people, meet new people, and you might not feel that high energy, right? You might have come off a long day of work, and then what do? You're like, well, okay, let's come on, let's put on a smiley face, a happy face. That's what I heard, right? People like good vibes. No? Yeah, right? Good vibes. Hi. Maybe if I jump up and down a little bit. Hi. Does that work? Scamming.
Say the scam.
Scam.
Louder.
Come on.
Scam.
Here's another one, right? Well, I don't really know what to say. What are some things that I could say that other people would like, even though I have no interest in it? Scam! Say it, come on! Louder! Here's another one. You might go out, and this is the typical interaction, starts off well, right? You experience some fear, you kind of blast through, you start talking, and after 5 minutes, you suddenly feel this urge to just leave the conversation. Anyone experience that? Or you just leave too early, and then you're reflecting like, why did I leave? It was going totally well. Why? Right? Why did I self-sabotage like that? Well, here's the reason why. Okay? In 99.99999% of cases, it's because you were scamming. Say it one more time. The scam.
Again.
No, but
Remember,
think
every
about
time
it.
I ask you to say that until it's full volume, I'm going to keep asking
It's like
you.
scam.
Because we're going to be going long to not.
Oh, yeah.
You know
No, but think of it. It's like 5 minutes. It's pretty easy to have some things memorized, like, hey, presenting yourself to be a certain way. But as time goes on, it's a lot harder to maintain that front. It's a lot harder to scam someone. They can start seeing through it, like something's a little bit off, or again, here's a bit of my real personality that comes out, and they might love it, but you're just like, it's not good enough, and then you leave. That there, social scammer. And sadly, this is where the majority of people get drawn into at first when it comes to working on their social skills. They try to perfect all the different ways that they can scam someone into liking them. They assume that they are so low value, that they have no self-esteem, that they are completely worthless, that the only way someone would ever want to engage with them, to talk to them, to be their friend, to connect with them, is if they hide that and try to distract people from their icky core. Right? It's like you're a piece of crap and you're just spraying the perfume and you're looking for more and more perfume to spray on the piece of crap and you're going up like, here, perfume, perfume. And eventually they get a whiff, it pierces through, and it's over. Okay? You try to scam them. No.
It's like you took vomit and you put pink food coloring in it. It's like you found a dead rat and you put a slice of Swiss cheese on it.
It's like you take a McDonald's burger and you call it real meat.
You call it what?
Real meat.
I like that.
Feel it. All right, so step one here is enough with the scam. And do an audit from now on. Ask yourself right now, do I feel comfortable just being me? Or do I feel the need to present myself in a way that's just not who I am right now in this moment? Right? Guaranteed even here, walking into this room, probably a lot of you walked in, you're like, here we go. What's the cool walk? And you start walking through the crowd like, is that how you naturally walk? No, but hey, how's it going? Hey. You like that firm grip? Hey. That's right, I'm just going. Okay. I'll give it to you. I will, I promise. I promise I'll do it. Give him a hand, come on. I hope you got the joke there. Give him a hand. Get it? No, but that's what happens, right? That there, audit it and be like, why am I trying to compensate? Why am I doing like this crazy over-the-top body language perfume on the crap? What if I don't have to do that? That's something you should all try, by the way. Try going out and socializing and just be you. See how much you can be. Even if you think like, well, being me is boring. See how boring you can get. You'll actually be surprised. We tend to think that, oh, for someone to want to talk to me, for a conversation to be captivating, the bar has to be so high. What if you're just like very boring? You're like, that's all I had to do? It just takes off so much pressure. Okay, so this is really the foundation of social skills. It's realizing that a lot of the skills that you've probably been taught, a lot of the skills that you see out there that people talk about, a lot of the 3 quick tips are simply nice ways to scam people into liking you. It's different flavors of perfume. Okay?
Where did that sound from?
So the guy's like, yeah, more perfume.
Do it again. Yeah.
There we go.
I thought it would sound like a machine did it.
Now, step 1 is no more scamming. Step 2 is questioning yourself in terms of that belief that I am crap. What if you aren't? And there's where inner work comes to play. No one can skip this process. When it comes to socializing, inner work is really the foundation. That's what affects your vibe. That's what affects also all the micromanaging, the worry. It's what allows us to come up here and just unleash, right? Like notice, just casually sitting, I don't have to build momentum for this. I just stand up and I talk and I'm here. Did I have to build momentum? No. And notice how I was sitting, it was really chill. You'd probably be like, whoa, the person sitting there is probably pretty quiet. And I can be. Or I can be loud. No momentum. That's a solid, healthy foundation. And this will not just help you socially, it'll help you in all areas of life.
Yeah, notice when he says foundation, he's not saying it's everything. He's saying it's a foundation.
Yes. And this is very key. Doing proper inner work ultimately gets you to the point where you are a social natural, right? Take someone who has the perfect conditioning, right? Moment you're born, you're in this world, you're like, whoa, and everyone's just like praising you. Whatever you do, it's like,
Your grand entrance.
yes, you know, you come out of your mother, here you are, right? And by the way, although it's a funny illustration, do realize that none of us here have ever come out of our mother and experienced immediate social anxiety. We're stifled, we're shy, we're worried. None of us. We came out as this ball of expansive energy, right? You were born that way. None of one's like, oh, it's a little too tight, it's a little, oh, people judging me, little baby, can you just snip it? No one's doing that. That happens later. Meaning that your default state is being very expansive.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see what kids would look like if they didn't get socially conditioned for that. So I basically gave my kids no rules at all, and I told them they could do whatever they want, and they're out of control. It's so epic. They're so out of, they're just like, ah! Like they go, I'll get videos for you guys. Like they go totally crazy. It's super duper epic.
But say you take that kid, right? It's like perfect conditioning. There's no trauma, nothing happens that stifles them, right? What would happen? They would be a social natural. And you might know people in your life like this. People where they go out in a venue, they can easily make friends, right? If you go to meet them and they might be at the place before you, you'll arrive and they're talking and they already know everyone there. They can easily talk to people, easily be expressive. They don't have concerns like, oh, am I loud? Are people staring? What's going on? It's, I'm just a social natural. That's good. Is that the peak though? Yes or no? No. Yes or no? You should know this. No. It's the foundation. From there, you take a healthy, emotionally healthy human being. Yes, you can then optimize that.
The idea of being a natural, socially, is the idea that you already feel good within yourself, and then what happens is that there's certain things that are still relevant from that space. There's many things that are still relevant, like having a really, really good follow-up system is still relevant. Not causing somebody reputational damage by talking to you and making a smooth interaction within that framework is still relevant. But all of a sudden, other things might change. For example, a simple social skill that you might have is something called a vacuum. And a vacuum is just the idea that you might look at somebody and you just stare at them expectantly because it's communicating that you're grounded in yourself. And what it's meant to do is it's meant to highlight and draw attention to how grounded in yourself you are. If you're coming from a space where you feel like a scammer and you pause and look at somebody in the eye and make a vacuum, and you're coming from a frame of lower value, then commonly what will happen is it will draw attention to how you're feeling lower value, is generally speaking what it will do. Versus if you're centered and you're natural, when you do a vacuum, it actually helps you. So the major difference that you'll see when you feel like a scammer versus when you're coming into being a natural is that you're doing things to draw attention to what you are rather than to distract from what you are. A simple example would be, I remember when I was younger, I ate at a fish restaurant called Bartolata in the Wynn Hotel in Vegas. And apparently, people I'm maybe a little annoyed at right now, such as Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. Tad a little bit annoyed with them right now, but the point being, touch. But the point being is that, obviously very successful. It's the kind of restaurant that they would go to where you might pay $1,000 to get some fish. And they've literally flown it in right from the sea. What's the one right outside Italy called again? It's the Mediterranean, right? They fly in fish right directly from the Mediterranean, like same day. They serve it to you, it's really good. And so I remember I was eating there, and I said, hey, could you cover it in tomato sauce? And, the server looked at me and they're like, no, you do not cover this in tomato sauce, right? Maybe a dash of lemon, that is all. Then you eat it straight, right? And I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. Like, I'm gonna pay all this money, like, I can't even get some tomato sauce on my fish, like, this sucks, right? And so I ate it, and it tasted 50 times better than a normal fish that I would have eaten that has tomato sauce. So a really, really good fish or a really, really beautiful meal typically will have less sauces and distractions versus what do most mainstream restaurants or food companies do? Take a McDonald's, for example. They might get the lowest quality beef they can physically do and then slather it in this very distracting sauce. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach you to go from being like the slathered Big Mac to the Bartolotta fish, okay? So that's kind of the difference that we're trying to emphasize here. So what changes as you become centered in yourself is that there's often more pauses, vacuums. The idea of, say, a vacuum works when you're emanating energy, right? When you're a social natural, you feel good inside yourself, you're healed or better. No one's perfectly healed, but you know my point, you're doing better. Then you want to draw attention to the Bartolotta fish versus when you're doing, when you don't feel good, you're trying to do anything to distract from it. You're just anything that you can to just distract.
Yeah, that point is huge, by the way. Audit it within yourselves. You're out, am I trying to avoid people seeing me, right? Look at the cool story. Look at the cool words. Look at this thing. Look at my friends. Look at this. Look at my tonality. Or, hey, I can totally be seen. Huge. And is the advice you're looking up stuff to compensate, distract, or highlight? And that's the shift, right? Once you're a social natural, there's still things that you can do to enhance that. But the place it's coming from, the relationship with techniques is it highlights my authenticity. It helps my authenticity connect with other people versus compensating, distracting. Huge. And you can audit too, by the way, that foundation. It sounds a little out there like, what's this foundation? What do you mean the vibe? Like what Owen just said. If you go out and you start interacting with people, try going up and just being like, put your hand out, stay a distance away, look at the person, smile, and see if they walk over and shake your hand. You'll see immediately the kind of vibe and energy you put out there. You'll see immediately, too, if there's that tendency to quickly resort to all the distractions. If you're like, oh, so anyway, yeah, the hand thing, and just move on, try to distract, that's bad. If you can stay with it, you'll see. If you're putting out good vibes, the majority of people will smile and go and shake your hand. If you can't do that, that means there's some serious inner work to be done.
It's not just about demonstrating value, it's about assuming value. Can you say that with me? Demonstrating value versus assuming value. And so what that just meant was, again, not coming from that scammer perspective, but rather coming from the natural perspective.
Yeah. You can think too, right? Back to the three famous paradigms. There's like having, doing, and being. The scammer relies on having and doing. That's where they attribute their worth. They're like, I am as much as I have, so I better have a lot of money, be good looking, have good access, et cetera, and I better be doing a lot. And
let's pause that. Say the paradigms again. See if you guys caught it. What's the first one? Having. Louder. Having. Louder. Having. What's the second paradigm? Doing. Louder. Doing. Louder. Doing. And what's the last one? Being. Louder. Being. Actually louder. Being. Okay, very good.
Okay, so scammer. Thank you. The scammer relies on having and doing to compensate for the being. It's like the more I have, the more I do, the more value. The being isn't good enough. The master focuses on the being. That's the primary source of value, and from that, they will take action, and through those actions, they will have, but it's really, the source is the being. And this is huge. And one last thing on this, examine also your strategy, right? The strategy of the scammer you know, you were talking about having that gap, like that's the fantasy that most people have. It's like you fantasize that you can get the social results you want without changing who you are at a core. That's the strategy. It's like, here I am in my little bubble, my little comfort zone, my little basement, and I'm shy, and I'm in my head, and I have tons of trauma, and I have all these worries, and I'm pretty toxic if I'm being honest, but if I can just...
Or even worse, they have the things he said and don't know they have the things he
Oh
said.
yeah. But say that's the paradigm. I'm gonna go out of my little dungeon, I can learn a couple little tips and tricks, get people to like me, make some friends, make some connections, and then go back to my dungeon and continue to be little me in the dungeon. That strategy does not work. I can go out, and instead of being dungeon, I'm going to scam them, make them think I have a castle, not a dungeon, and back in the dungeon. No. You have to make a radical shift in who you are. Not just what you say, not just what you have, not just what you do, who you are. That's the foundation. If you don't have that, you are screwed. Okay, now, this leads us to another key topic, okay, that we hinted at here as well, which is if you're someone who's really relying on the having or doing, then there's a lot of importance in terms of what you say. And this is a huge reason people run out of things to say. Because they think, well, it's what I do. You know, who I am's not good enough, so what I better be doing and saying better be perfect. No. And just taking the difference here. Here's the key perspective, okay? Take the energy that you're experiencing right now, right? Us sitting, just talking, breaking all this down. Take just the past 30 seconds, me making the distinction, right? If you really care about the doing, right, the verbals, like you're going to run out of things to say because you value it too much. Think of all the different ways that you could explain that concept in 30 seconds. You could actually take a much better script. You could use better words, right? If you actually study and like, okay, how can I communicate this point in 30 seconds or less the best way possible? You could take that, give it to someone who doesn't have the same soul, the same feel, the same vibe, the same being, and that person will say it, and although logically, if you would read it, say in a little post online, it would seem a lot better, you would actually connect with it a lot less. You'd connect a lot more with the explanation that might be a little bit all over the place, maybe some ums and ahs, but there's just that nice flow, that nice energy that really gets you to lock in.
So what he's doing is he's breaking down, first at the base, he called it the having paradigm, but even a way it might register more with you is have or have not paradigm. Have you ever seen some of these festering cesspools where people talk about how because they don't have certain things, they can never get results? You ever seen this? No, it's important you understand this. At the lowest level paradigm, it is, I don't have this, I can't get that result. And sometimes it might even be, I hate the people who have XYZ. Okay, and you'll see that these are the festering cesspools of people that are caught in this victim mentality. And by the way, the fascination with, say, not even to be a hater, but say, like, as an example, say the Kardashians, stems from that paradigm because, like, oh, the Kardashians have XYZ, therefore I will worship them. There's sort of like a worship that goes on. It's a very bizarre sub-dom relationship to where somebody's like, well, you either have or you don't, and then I'm just gonna like look at the people that have and then either worship them or hate them. Okay, it's a common thing, right? Because even right now, you might think that you're not in that have or have not paradigm. What if we said to you, right now, you're gonna be wearing a $100,000 Rolex watch, you're gonna be totally jacked, you're gonna have a giant mega mansion, you're gonna be running your party, you're gonna have all these incredible people propping you up, would you feel confident? Well, if even in imagining that is adding to your confidence, and that's not how you feel now, then you're in the have or have not paradigm. I'm not trying to make some insane leap of logic and be like, that wouldn't help. No, it helps. Don't get me wrong. But again, remember we said the foundation. If your foundation isn't that you feel that kind of confidence without that, there's the issue. That's a have or have not paradigm. What he's then breaking down from there is the doing paradigm.
Yeah. By the way, having that,
doing something.
Having that, as we talked about too, where it's either bringing attention or distracting, say you were to have that, it could actually highlight that insecurity too. Because then that's all you talk about. Like, do you see my mansion? Do you see the mansion? Do you see my body? Do you see all the muscles? Oh, and it would come off really try hard, really insecure. And you'll sense too, here's another symptom of being stuck in having or even doing, your sense of confidence. This is huge, right? The confidence you have within yourself is constantly shifting. In one situation, you might feel boosted. The next minute, it's down. And it's this constant up and down, and you're at the mercy of the external. This is huge. If you're experiencing that, you're stuck in the have-nots, you're stuck in the doing. And with what he said here too, you can also audit the thing and the having that has the most, you could say, effect on you. Where, let's just say right now, here's another fun perspective, a genie popped up next to you. Right? Genie popped up, it's like, hey, not the Will Smith genie, Robin Williams. Okay? Right there next to you, he's like, hey, I'll grant you a wish. What would be the one thing you'd wish for that would perhaps increase your confidence? You can't say, I want to be more confident. What's the thing? Well, in the having paradigm, what's the thing you'd wish for? Would it be money? Would it be looks? Would it be friends? Would it be a different location, a different house, a different job, more access? Like, that's for you to decide, but audit. What's the most important thing? You have one wish, and don't go with the, well, I wouldn't wish for anything because, you know, I'm perfect as I am. Like, indulge the little petty thoughts. Getting to know your petty thoughts, huge when it comes to changing. You better be aware of them to change them. So don't stay in delusion.
Yeah, when we've done social training, keep in mind, like, when we've had horrible, horrible things happen to us, many of which are quite public, we still have to go do trainings. I've done social trainings in the middle of vicious recession many, many years ago. I've done trainings in the middle of horrible things like what Julien experienced. I've done trainings in the middle of breakups. I've done trainings when a celebrity will show up on the program and I may be a little bit nervous. He has done all the same.
I've done trainings where I was out socializing and in the back of the mind, I'm like, maybe I should kill myself tomorrow.
Yeah.
For real, right?
Well,
2015.
You might have heard some of the things he's been through, right? So,
yeah. So that's like the weight, right? But.
So gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
Because little eyeballs looking at you. Gotta do it.
No, but do take it in. It's also not, like, that's the thing too, with social skills, you should really have access to it at will, right? Think of everyone's like, oh, but my little victim thing. It's like, so you have that thought in the back of your mind, like literally the darkest thought, you're like on the verge, like, maybe I'll just end it. You should still then be able to turn it on. It's just who you are. It's not something that, oh, I need to rely on this. Like some people, it's like, I need to rely on some drinks first. I need to rely on listening to my little music first, right? Before going out, let me pump some music. Yeah. Let me do my affirmations first, right? It's like, no. You're there, boom. Just who you are.
You gotta be like a tank. Like, you know, there's a lot of ideas out there on the internet where they're like, all right, you're gonna go get jacked. You're gonna get rich. And then you're also gonna get more success. All great stuff. Go do all of it if it resonates with you, 1,000%. But like the kind of mindset I'm coming from is like, you could put me like in a woman's wedding dress. I'm gonna go out and, well, this is LA. That'd probably help me. All right. This is a very leftist city. Okay, let's rewind. I'm stuck 10 years ago and that would go against you. Okay, well, I'm thinking of guys like Dennis Rodman who'd literally wear a wedding dress out and still smash it, right? Like, it should, like, you shouldn't be at the point where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have this and yeah, like all that stuff to get something. No, you wanna be coming from a standpoint of like, put impediments on me. Like you're gonna be that person swimming with a ball and chain on you, okay? Like I like challenges where like, you know, like you'd put like a marker on your face, like idiot on your forehead, and you still go smash it.
Yeah.
You know, but again, probably that would even help you. I mean, literally, like.
I did that back in the day. I'd take like eyeliner and I'd give myself a fake black eye. I'd do the Harry Potter thing on my forehead, and I would draw all over my arms and just go out and act totally normal.
Yeah,
it looked like,
pure win.
Yep.
That's it, just winning and winning and winning. Like total self-confidence, total self-esteem. Doesn't matter if you've had your face dragged in the mud, broke, gone through nightmares, nothing will stop you. And in fact, social confidence is the one thing that you can have. Like going out and having amazing, wild, crazy social experiences is the one thing you can do when you're sucking. So as much as I do like a lot of the ideologies of like, hey, you know, part of being empowered is to hit the gym, to make money, and a lot of the time, people will actually warp a lot of what we say, where they're like, oh, they're telling you to put a marker on your face and wear a wedding dress and to look like Harry Potter. That's what they teach. And they take what we say, they cut it out of context, warp it, and like one of our old ways to start a conversation was just saying, I like salad, right? And the point of that was not that that's a good way to start a conversation. No, it's that you're so good that you could say I like salad and still start a conversation. But then that gets warped by lesser individuals, and then they say, oh, they're just, you could go learn from like Julien and just learn like salad, like so stupid, not like me. You're gonna get jacked and rich and like be awesome and not like salad and be super awesome, right? I'm just like watching this. I'm like, this is not what we're saying. We are 1,000 times better at this. It drives me crazy. No, you should be so good at this that with a marker on your head, a wedding dress, and the salad opener, you will crush. Nothing will stop you. That was the point that we're making. Nothing will stop you, okay? Balding ginger, pot belly, depression, autism, nothing will stop you, okay? Nothing, okay? Nothing. Okay, and that's a dogged pit bull winner's mindset that you just win. Just shut up and win. Just shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm sick of the, I can't do it, shut up, okay? No excuse, I don't care.
There's no barrier of entry when it comes to winning. There isn't. There's no barrier of entry when it comes to you right now taking charge of your social skills, going out there and winning. You can audit. Oh, but I need to do this first. I need to have this first. I need to be like this. I need to look like this. It's like, you can still do all that, but do that while taking action versus only win. That's what we do. We self-impose all this resistance, all these barriers that don't need to be there. And that's why we take that harsh approach. It's like, doesn't matter. Oh, but I don't look as good as it. Doesn't matter. Jump in. Until you're taking action, doesn't matter. Once you're taking action, then by all means, sure. But here's also what happens, right? When you stop valuing the having and doing so much, this is huge, you actually crush it, and things like, oh, but that person's really good looking. That person has a lot of money. Ooh, doesn't stifle you anymore. That's how you win, because you're competing on the being, not the doing, not the having.
When you stop competing, you win.
This is huge. How else do you think you're going to network with someone who's like way ahead of you? If that's your mindset, you're like, I need to network with people, make a lot more money. I need to network with success people. That's all that matters. They have the success. I don't have the success. They have the success. I don't have the success. You talk to them. They have the success. You're going to freeze. You're like, I'm so low value in comparison to you. Oh, it's going to come off as awkward. But if you're like, hey, yes, in that area, they have more. But what I have doesn't equal who I am. I don't try to find myself in what I have. I don't try to find myself in what I do. I just am. That's how you stay grounded. You don't get all stuck in your head. You can feel comfortable being around successful people. You don't alienate them, right? You don't turn into overly needy or weird or too much of a fan or too stick around or you can't calibrate. It's like you're just a normal person. There's no downside and you win. Okay? And this is another big one too. You've probably heard this, right? There's the cards you're dealt in life, and you can either sit there at the table crying over your cards, or you can play.
Just cry more.
All right?
Cry more.
And here's another one. Like, you're here. You probably watch a lot of our videos, and there's probably a part of you that looks up to us. But hey, we are, by social standards, not cool people.
Yeah, in this little room we're
like in this room we're cool.
I'm leaving this room for a second.
Yeah. It's like you're not going to see us cast in the movie as being the main person, like, whoa, look at that, right? It's like we're not going to be the next Batman or something like that. That's not us. You may be like, but you're on YouTube, you're speaking. Yeah, in that context. But hey, we are nerdy. We are weird. Right? Starting out, guess what? I had the same little things too. I'm like, oh, for me it was different. I'm like, I'm too tall. I wish I was shorter. That's true. That's true. I was like, I'm too tall. I wish I was shorter. And no joke, even when buying shoes, I'm like, the heel's a little too high. Why don't they make these with like lesser heels? Even with dress shoes, I had these, you might remember from old videos, that we called these like the elf shoes.
Yeah.
And I wore them for years, so there were holes in them. Why? Because they were the only dress shoes that had the smallest heel, so I could be shorter than I am. Yeah. So I had that insecurity. I was like, why was I, damn you height, damn you 6'2", 6'3",
Yeah.
damn you.
And guys, we learned
Right?
over the years.
But wait, last thing, but not just that, but I was super shy. I was like, oh, but I don't know what to say. I'm not good enough. I'm not witty. I'm weird. It's like everyone has excuses. Play the game. Don't bitch about the cards. Jump in, play the game. And you don't have to have, by societal standards, amazing cards to have a blast playing the game of life. You don't.